Today is the last of the Old Testament women we will look at this Advent season. Come Thursday, Advent is over as the birth of Christ takes place. And that night, we hear the declaration of the angels that in this Christ child born of Mary, God is bringing his peace to the earth. So this last woman we look at today is Bathsheba. Her story is in 2 Samuel chapters 11 and 12. We know that she was a beautiful woman married to Uriah the Hittite, whom David the king had killed after David had made Bathsheba pregnant. And after Uriah's death, David took Bathsheba as his wife. This is how part of that text reads. When the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah, her husband, was dead, she lamented over her husband. And when the mourning was over, David sent and brought her to his house, and she became his wife and bore him a son. But the thing that David had done displeased the Lord. Now, if you'll read these chapters, and I encourage you to do so, if you'll read these chapters, there is great detail that makes clear how Bathsheba came to be pregnant and how David tried to trick Uriah into laying with Bathsheba so as to cover up her being pregnant by David. You'll also hear how Nathan was sent by God to confront David and how David confessed his sin. Yet Nathan had to tell David that the child that Bathsheba bore to him would die because of David's sin. So Bathsheba's first son, because of David's sin, had to die. And we learn that her second son was Solomon, and he was also called Jedediah, meaning beloved of the Lord. But it's her firstborn son who had to die that draws our attention this Advent. There are a few parallels between her and Mary to take note of. Both were pregnant, but not by their husbands. Both had sons as their firstborn. And then there is the fact both their firstborn sons had to die for the sins of others. By Adam, God's first human, sin came into creation. And by God's only Son, Jesus Christ, born into this world through the flesh of Mary, the sin of Adam was atoned for by Jesus' death. As with Bathsheba's firstborn son, who died for the sin of another, David, so also Mary's firstborn, Jesus, died for the sins of others. He died for the sin of all people. And that death of Jesus Christ is what brought us peace with God forever. Without his holy birth, there would be no holy atonement paid by his holy blood. While we are waiting these last few days of Advent for Jesus to come to the manger, we do so in anticipation also of the cross to come. For that cross and his holy death are the guarantee that our sins are wiped away, and that we can continue this Advent to look forward with eagerness to Christ's second coming. That second coming of Jesus will bring us home to heaven with him and with all the saints and martyrs and loved ones who preceded us in joining the church triumphant in glory. We thank God that Bathsheba's sorrow and loss remind us powerfully of what Mary's boy child accomplished for us. And so we continue to humbly and eagerly look forward and know that this Advent season is for us a blessing from God. Goodbye.